All right, let's bring in Tim Watts, Bama Online. It's been busy for you, Tim. Yesterday after the game, Andy Staples wrote an article kind of insinuating, and I think there's been a lot of rumors, that Jalen Milroe is not going to be back at Alabama next year, most likely the NFL. It could be a transfer portal. Tim, what are you hearing on Jalen Milroe?
Yeah, just speculating, and also going off the educated speculation, I guess is what I'd call it. Is that I don't think the expectation is he'll be back next year at Alabama. I think it would be a no-brainer saying that he would go to the NFL, except the day of the NIL. There's some desperate teams out there for quarterbacks. Somebody could make him a crazy offer. Again, I'm purely speculating, but I think the people close to Alabama believe he's going to the NFL. It's just time for him to take that next step, go to the next level, and move on.
And that
I personally don't. And at the time of this video, Jalen Milroe has, at the time of the video I'm recording, Jalen Milroe has declared for the NFL draft, I believe. Let me know in the comments below. But I do not agree that he should have went to the NFL. I think he should have stayed another year. Personally, I think Jalen Milroe needs a little bit more development as a passer. I mean, as a runner, ain't no question he's the best, probably the best quarterback coming out of this draft. But I think he needs a little bit more polishing. I think Kalen DeBoer is the guy to do it. But, I don't know if he's being pressured into going to the draft, or if, they tell him to either hit the draft or hit the portal. They get ready for some new blood. I don't know. But I don't agree that Jalen Milroe should go to the NFL right now. I think he needs a little bit more time to sit because they plan these quarterbacks right away.
Leads me to moving on, and it could be a move to five-star quarterback Keelon Russell, who right now is participating in Orlando at the Under Armour game. Steve Wiltfong, Chad Simmons, and everybody's down there. Gatorade Player of the Year, industry's number 2 ranked overall recruit. And he did an interview with Steve Wiltfong yesterday, and he said something that kind of jumped out at me. And it said that, Alabama wants him to come in and be the quarterback ASAP. So, of course he's having a great week down in Orlando, but do you really believe that Keelon Russell could come in as a freshman and start at Alabama?
I don't think it's unheard of for somebody to do that. I think the odds are against them based on how good the SEC is, how quick you got to learn, how fast the game moves. Now, however, he is going to be here in January, so he's going to get that spring. And I think spring will tell us a lot more about him and where he fits in. And also Ty Simpson's been there 3 years. He's not going to give the quarterback position up easy. Got Austin Mack there. What I will say is I think you're going to get a full-fledged quarterback battle. The last time we saw this, to me, was when Bryce Young and Mac Jones were in a similar situation where Bryce was coming in as the number 1 quarterback in the country. Mac Jones had been there for several years, came in and battled. Mac won that job. So I think you're going to see a similar battle. As far as Keelon goes, I'm a recruiting guy, so I'm always looking to see the freshman play. I think he has all the merits to be in contention for that starting job. I'm not sure anybody signed a better quarterback than Keelon this year. He won basically every award, tore up everything he's done. Obviously, Underwood at Michigan is in the debate. There's no doubt about that. He's ranked the number 1 quarterback. Now, I'm not sure anybody did more to help himself this year than Keelon Russell.
Now, I agree with several points that was made here. Number 1, Keelon Russell is the best quarterback in this class. That's my favorite quarterback in the 2025 class. Followed closely by Tavian St. Clair. I'm not very high on Bryce Underwood as a passer. Now, you just say, hey, you want the most athletic quarterback in the class? That's Bryce Underwood, no doubt, no questions. But I like Keelon. I think Keelon Russell is the most, college-ready quarterback mentally, arm talent-wise. But physically, I don't know if he's ready to be the starter for Alabama. And I've been very vocal about it. Y'all know, if you followed this channel any length of time, I have several videos covering Keelon Russell and what I think about his game. But I always say, at 6'3", 6'4", 175 pounds, he's too light to be a true blue starter right out the gate as a true freshman. If he was closer to like 195, 200, 205 as a freshman, I'd be a little bit more comfortable because we've seen several quarterbacks play at that weight and be successful. But I just don't feel comfortable with him being at 175, 185, being a starter in the SEC, for me personally. Need to sit.
All right, yeah, and Keelon Russell checks in Orlando at 6'4", 180, and through 2 days of practice, he is as good as advertised. So we'll be keeping an eye on him. But a couple other guys I want to talk about on the offensive side of the ball that seem like really good evals by the Alabama staff. Both of them on the offensive line, Michael Carroll and Jackson Lloyd. Do you there's a lot of talk coming out of this Michigan game about Alabama's offensive line. Could Carroll or Lloyd make an early impact up front?
I think Michael Carroll's come to Tuscaloosa with bad intentions. I think physically he's got the tools you want, the mindset. I mean, if you watch this highlight film, there's a lot of moms, cussing at him. He is whooping their sons' butts a few times. Very aggressive, physical. Jackson's the same way. I mean, they've got that good kids off the field, nasty on the field, which is what you want to see from an offensive lineman. But both of them have that finish in them. Jackson's going to be the most interesting long-term to me. This is going to be the first time he only focused on football. He played basketball, was actually pretty good. He played baseball, was actually pretty good. This is his first time focusing on football. Looks like he's added some really good weight. He looks like an NFL first-round tackle pick physically. But Michael's the one I think you have to.
He is not getting drafted in the NFL first round at 280. The average NFL lineman that's getting drafted is about 315. So he got some weight to put on. I haven't watched enough film on Jackson Lloyd to really give a fair assessment, so I'm gonna just let them have it. But 9 times out of 10, it's really just a big body prospect. And for most of these kids, I would have to go watch some tape. And if y'all want me to watch this tape and react to it or something like that, let me know. I'll do it. If there's a market for it, I'll do it. But yeah, haven't watched enough tape on Jackson Lloyd to really comment, so I ain't gonna say too much in that category.
To watch the closes because I think he's coming in. You got Tyler Booker leaving. I think Carroll's coming in, like I said, with bad intentions, and he's a bad man.
All right, the season that Ryan Williams had just doesn't come around all the time. But watching Latsier Brooks throughout the year, I mean, he was like a human highlight reel every Friday night, putting up these catches, these numbers. Do you think he's going to factor into that wide receiver rotation once he arrives?
I think, you mentioned earlier really good evaluations by this staff, and I think they did some of the best evaluations in the country. We've already talked about Jackson Lloyd, who was a 3-star, Keelon Russell, 3 or 4-star,